Allah, so let me stray. Please guide my way onto the path of my deen. Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, I'm calling your name.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk on your favorite channel, Huda TV. I'm your host, Arkham Rashid. Lying has become the norm in society nowadays, so much so that sometimes we don't even realize when we tell a lie. We often find ourselves bending the truth, even if there's no reason to do so. On tonight's episode, we will discuss some of the causes and harms and how to avoid telling lies. So I'm going to start off by letting my guests introduce themselves, and then we're going to watch a video, inshallah. So starting from my right, if I can have you, brother, introduce yourself, give us your name, where you're from, what you're doing here in Egypt, just a little bit about yourself.
First of all, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Yasser Al-Ashqar. I'm from Alexandria.
Welcome, Yasser, to the show.
Thanks a lot. I'm studying Bachelor of Commerce, 4th year right now. It's my last year, so I hope it goes well, inshallah.
Yeah. All right, sure. I want to welcome you to the show, and inshallah we can discuss some of the causes and effects of lying.
Inshallah.
Okay, go ahead, brother. Give us your name and what you're doing here in Egypt and where you're from.
Yeah, okay. My name is Suleiman Bari. I'm from Guinea-Conakry, part of West Africa.
All right, welcome Suleiman to the show.
Yeah, welcome back. And I'm a student in Al-Azhar University. I'm in the process now. This is maybe going to be in my first year. Study commerce.
Mashallah. And you've been on this show before with me also. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother, if I can have you introduce yourself, your name, where you're studying,
Sure.
Just a little bit about yourself.
My name is Yusuf Salhin. I'm 22. I'm a senior at Al-Azhar University, major in Islamic Studies in English, and I'm originally from Egypt.
Okay, so you go to Al-Azhar also?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and this is my first time at least being on the show with you.
Oh yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
It's a pleasure too. Go ahead, brother. Give us your name, where you're from, just a little bit about yourself.
I'm Nazif Abubakar, coming to you from Nigeria. I'm here to study at Al-Azhar University, inshallah, starting from this year. The Faculty of Islamic Studies, just like Yusuf Salahin.
All right, and you've also been on the show with me.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to the show. I want to welcome you guys. So I want to welcome all you guys to the show, and now we're going to quickly watch a short video, and then we'll start our conversation, inshallah.
My eyes and I praise Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi Subhanallahi how perfect you are Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Second thing we have to absolutely address, and it will take so long before you get anywhere with it, is lying. Lying, man. Kids lie. And they will convince themselves that they didn't. They will, I didn't say that, I didn't say it, I never said that. I swear, you said it to me. I was there. I didn't. I recorded it. Here's the video. I didn't say it. I swear I didn't. They'll watch the video and say I didn't do it. They did not. You know why that happens? It happens because the first time they lied, and they actually admitted that they lied. Oh, ho, 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 كأنه يوم القيامة. Like, you lied in my house? So now, first you said, please tell me the truth. What did you actually say? And they finally said it, and then you came down with the axe. So the next time, like, I will take all of this. But once I admit that I lied, I know what comes next. I am not doing that again. I am not admitting to this crime again. Because pleading guilty in this house does not work out for you. You got to stop that first. You cannot punish. You cannot punish extra for something that happened that's already made you angry. So the mother is angry because the child lied. or because the child did something bad. Then she's angry because he lied about it. Then she's angry because she doesn't tell me the truth. I'm giving you one last chance. One last chance. I'm going to ask you one last time, even though she's going to ask 6 more times. But she says one last time, tell me, and this is the only time I'm going to ask. I'm not going to ask again. Did you do it? No. Okay, I'm going to ask one last time. Before I tell your father, one more time. I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't. And he'll go to bed, he'll cry, he'll wake up, I didn't do it, he'll stick to it. And you're like, how do I deal with this? And you say, I know you did it. I know you did it. You're making me even more angry. And you get angry, and he gets more defensive. And you get angry, and he gets more defensive. And at the end of the day, you start pulling out your hair. The husband comes home, I don't know what to do with this one. He lied. And you're like, you lied? No, it starts over again. How do we have to deal with this? We have to take those situations, and sometimes you just believe them, even though you know they're lying. I believe you because I trust you. You wouldn't lie to me. You promised last time you wouldn't lie, so I trust you. And the other kid's like, but I trust him. You're fine. You're not in trouble. And let him get away with a lie 3 or 4 times. Guess what's going to happen? Children are not inherently evil. Children are inherently good. Their nature is goodness. So when they do something bad, and you don't punish them for it, then they have an opportunity to ask their conscience. If you punish them for it, their conscience was not bothered, because they already got punished for it. When they get punished for it, they don't feel bad, because they did something bad and they paid for it. There's no conscience. But if you don't punish them once in a while, I said pick your battles. You don't have to get them for every time. Pick your battles and say, okay, I trust you. You didn't do it. I know she must have got it wrong. She must not have remembered properly. When you slapped her, she must have been sleeping and imagining it. The mark on her face, I don't know, is red coloring. I don't know what it is. Doesn't even look like your hand. Looks more like a foot. You know, so it's okay. You're not in trouble. You know what that does over time? Mama, I want to tell you something. I did do it. And then you come and you console and you say, it's okay. It's okay. I still trust you. I still trust you. And what you've done is you've taken the child away from being defensive. But it takes a little bit of long-term thinking to be able to do that. You won't be able to do that the first time. Like at first, it's very hard to forgive those kinds of things, right? Especially if they hurt another child. If they wrong somebody else. It's hard. And you have to take that other child and take them to a corner and say, Beta, I know, I trust you too. I'm not angry at you either. And I know they did something wrong. But you don't have to be happy if they get punished. That's the other thing. One child gets happiness only when the other one gets punished. And they get so used to Abba. She pulled my ear the other day. They just came back from Scotland, my family. And when the little one came to me and said, you know, Api, she pulled my ear one day. I was like, when? I don't know. One of the yesterdays. I was like, what do you want me to do? He goes, punish her. I was like, will that make you happy? Uh-huh. Sometimes kids do that. They get a kick out of the other one getting punished. They do. You don't want to create that either. With the little kids, with the 2-year-old, it's okay. You want to entertain them. So you bring the older one and you slap your own arm a couple of times and you tell her to say, ow. You know, and she says, ow, ow, it hurts. And then, you happy now, Walid? Yeah. That's cool. But with older kids, when they get happy when the other one gets punished, that's a problem. That's a punishable offense. That itself is a punishable offense. Why are you happy? What do you get out of that? You know? That's something we have to address with our children. So there are 2 things so far. Tantrums, lying. Lying. And lying, it's a long-term process. You don't get lying out of somebody's system right away. Especially because they don't even see it as lying anymore. They just see it as saving themselves. And kids, when they lie a lot, you know what happens? They actually start believing it themselves. They become better than any actor you have ever seen. They take on the role, boy. They will own it. And so you become extremely dumbfounded. Where do you even begin? Well, begin by not tackling it. Begin by disarming, taking the fear away.
Love Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed that short clip by Brother Noman Ali Khan. It was actually very good advice, mashallah. Okay, I want to start by asking my brother here, what can you extract from the video? What can you tell us from some of the advice he was giving to parents and to those of us that will become parents, inshallah?
Well, first of all, this video was just wonderful. You know, he made the topic in a very, very funny way, in a humorous way. You know, so people would lie, and you know, they keep believing it. You know, I know this one guy, he keeps lying that he makes this, you know, serious poker face that you would believe him, like, you know, like.
You can't tell if he's lying or not.
Seriously, it is, you know, and he believes himself, and he keeps swearing, like God with this and God with that. So first of all, from the way I see it, you know, people just don't think that God is watching them.
Yeah.
If you believe that God is above you and He knows the truth, you won't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're scared of me, but you're not scared from the one who created you. So that is the real big issue.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, I'm going to jump here to Nalif. What did you take away from that video that we saw?
Okay, as I can see, parents as role models, they have to pay very close attention to their children.
Yes.
Because they are the one who raising your other children. So you have to be very careful whatever you say, because children are recording whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
As we can see, if you tell lies all the time, your child will do the same, and vice versa. And there is a story of a mother and her child, small child. Once he asked her, "Mom, where is my grandparent or grandma,
Mm-hmm.
who died already?" His grandma is dead already. But his mother lied to him and said, "No, she got wings and flew into the air." He said, "Wow, I've got an idea. I must follow her." So he went upstairs, he threw himself and died. Yeah, and killed himself because of the lie that she told him. So we have to be very, we have to keep a watchful eye on our kids, to watchful our words, whatever we say, because every single words we say is recorded by our children, and also it will affect them in their future lives.
Another thing I noticed in the video, Brother Noman, he said, you know, the mother then said, you know, tell me this is one last chance. I'm giving you one last chance. And then after she said one last chance, when the child lies again, she goes on saying, "Okay, another last time. Tell me, what did you say?" So she's also lying.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Technically,
if I can ask
she's
Suleiman.
Yeah, think about that, like, you know, it depends, because the first time your kid start to lie, you know, as we know, like the Prophet said, like from 7 years or 10 years, start to beat him. Just not like hard, you know, to make him some rules, to show him that if you do this, or if there's a punishment, some punishment to you, just gonna make him a little bit scary, and to teach him, to tell him about the day of the judgment too. If you do this, your punishment is this and this. So you too, after, if you just keep doing like lying or hiding me some things, so you too, after, if I pass away, so like you will get like a family, so you have to take care, you see.
Okay, we have a phone call coming in from Abdullah in Egypt, if we can take it.
Hello?
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How are you, Abdullah?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yes, I just wanted to participate with you in this show. First, I'd like to thank you all who work in Huda TV and this interesting program. And I'm just following your episode tonight. You're discussing a very important behavior that is well spread in every community, every human community, and every time. What I just want to add, as you discussing lying, not only in an individual level, or when it comes to community, a larger community level, that it is something so important. When it comes so common in a community that lying is something common, something not weird, something acceptable, that destroys the trust between people. Imagine that there is a community that lying is highly forbidden.
Mm-hmm.
So people can talk to each other like with a trust, with something that he's not lying, but if there is a community that has a lot of people lying, and the rule is to lie, so there is no trust between the community. And I really would like to thank you and commend that you have been presenting a very good report by Sheikh Nauman. It has been a very good one.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for calling.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for calling, and yes, I do.
I'd like to point out, brother, one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Brother Abdullah, he pointed out some very, very important thing, which is lies are all haram. There's no such thing as a small lie and a big lie. You know, it's all lies.
Yeah.
You know,
And he mentioned about, imagine there's a community, and the norm is to tell lies. There's no trust between them. You don't know if the person you're talking to is telling a lie or if he's telling the truth. You don't know. You don't know what comes out of people's mouth. Now, I want to go to the brother here. Can you tell me, why do people lie? Give me some of the reasons why somebody would lie.
Of course, there are various reasons, but I think from the very beginning, people would lie for many reasons, like they want to show up themselves in a better position.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to be in a place or in a position that they don't deserve, so they lie. They want to, if they did something wrong and then they're shy or ashamed of it, they would lie. And even sometimes, which is like awkward, people would lie just because it's a habit to them. So that's why I think Sheikh Nauman Anikhal, and I like that he addressed it for children. It becomes a habit. If you don't discipline your kids to be truthful, unfortunately, it's very hard for adults to get out of them this worst, I think, trait in a human being, to be a liar.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a point you mentioned here. You said one of the reasons why somebody would lie is somewhat to avoid trouble.
Yeah.
So now, how would you avoid lying in a situation where, let's take an example, you're late for work, and your boss asks you, why are you late? Where were you? Now, in this situation, if you lie, you can get in trouble. If you lie, you'll avoid the trouble. But if you tell the truth, there's a chance of you getting in trouble. How can you avoid lying in this situation?
It depends on how you define trouble for yourself. So if you're a conscientious Muslim, you would say, for me, getting in trouble in work is better than getting in trouble with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even some sheikhs or ulama would say, if you, especially for that example, it means that you lie and then you've missed part of your job, and then you're going to take money for doing it. So this money is going to be haram because you didn't work for it. You didn't do what makes you...
That's a very good answer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yusuf. That's a very good answer. Okay, now I want to ask you, brother, is there a difference between lying and slightly bending the truth?
Slightly bending the truth is actually not the complete truth, which is considered lying.
Okay.
So I'd like to address the issue that it's not just the matter is not just about children. It regards everyone, especially people who I've read this one on the internet. It says that a lot of people who are trying to apply for a job, they make a completely fake CV, just to get into the job. So one guy, he wrote, I used to be a prime minister. I used to work for the prime minister in such a country. And that country, they don't even have a prime minister, So
they have presidents.
They don't even bother looking for the lie, which is would it be believable or not?
Okay. Brother Nadif, Sulaiman, sorry. I want to ask you, if you're just joking around with your friends, right?
Yeah.
And you just tell a lie, and it's harmless.
Yeah.
Is that permissible or not? What do you think?
Wow. No, it's not permissible, it depends. But if because sometimes even into, as we know, some problems going to happen between friends.
Yeah.
As, there's even in Hadith talk about, there's some 3 types is you're allowed to lie. If how to say, some friend, problem happen between them to fix.
Wait, before you continue, I'm going to jump to this side.
Okay.
What do you think? If the lie is harmless,
yes,
and you're joking with your friends, what do you think?
The problem is when it shifts and drafts to be a habit, then you can control whether it's joking or not. And there is such incidents that I faced myself with my friends who usually joke, and sometimes I can't differentiate with it, whether they're joking or not. So I can't really, or are you joking? And he says, no, I'm not. And he's joking. I was like, all right, then it can be a real trouble out of joking, and it's haram. And then, by the way, I myself, and I think the subconscious, when you're used to lie, the subconscious would not define it as a joke or not a joke. It's becoming a habit of your characteristics, and then you cannot handle it anymore.
He's actually right, because what makes it true is that the shaitan has steps, and Islam says, Quran says, لا تتبع خطوات الشيطان. You know, don't follow the devil's steps, because he takes you step by step. You know, so Islam makes it like lying is a small sin. Well, okay, so a child will grow up, just like Brother Yusuf said. He completely believes it's true. If you're going to convince him till the dawn comes out, you know, he won't. He will still be convinced, fully convinced. It's your lying, not him.
Now, what? In addition to what they have said, there is a hadith which Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَيْلٌ لِلَّذِي يُحَدِّثْ لِيَكْذِبْ لِيُضْحِكَ النَّاسِ. A distraction for he who tell jokes. It's habit for him just to tell jokes to make people laugh. So this also is forbidden in Islam, because if you want to tell joke, you can tell your joke, but make sure you tell the truth. Because even Prophet ﷺ said, I tell jokes, but I say nothing but the truth. So we have to follow this example and this
So
step.
even when Muslims joke, we need to know that it has to be the truth, whatever
Absolutely.
it is. Okay,
Whatever it is.
what if you had a friend, and you know he constantly lies when he jokes?
Okay,
how can you help him
Okay.
stop lying?
This is a gradual process, because you can confront him and say, wow, you have to stop lying. Just as Imam Nu'man Khan mentioned, you can approach him as parents approach their children. For example, sometimes just to give him a chance. Say, okay, I know you're telling me the truth. I can believe you, just to give him a chance. So his conscience may trouble him one time. Also, there's a story, one day, a father with his son. So that son told a father a blatant lie, which was unusual for that child. His father was so angry and said, wow, I never thought you could tell me a lie. Look me in the eye and tell me this lie. This bothered the son. He said, as from today, I will never ride my car, because I was so disappointed in you. So the father or the son got on his knee begging his father. He said, I promise you, as from today, I'll never tell you a lie. So it happened. Just, you can give him a chance, because some people are pathological lies. It becomes like a disease to them. So you have to, even to take them to therapy in healing these lies, by advising them constantly. Even when they tell lies again, don't give up. Be with them all together until, inshallah, they succeed to overcome this problem.
That's one very good way. Yusuf, can you give me another way how you would help a friend if he lies in jokes, or you just know that he constantly tells lies to get out of trouble, or in any situation your friend would lie, and you want him to stop this habit? What would you do?
Let me start by, I think in Islam, it's always this notion that we don't hate the sinner, we hate the sin. So I deal with him as I want anybody to deal with me. I think if we say that we don't lie, that we're going to add one more lie. So I think positive advice, I think, is one of the best. I can tell him in a very positive way, like, you're really funny, I like the way you make us all laugh. But I think if you joke in and you're truthful at the same time, you're gonna be the best. It's always, and I think Sheikh Nu'man Ani Khan and the Prophet ﷺ used to be strict regarding lies and lying. At the same time, when they advise, it's very positive attitude from Muslim and educator.
Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's best friend was named Brother Abu Bakr.
The Prophet himself, before Islam, was known for two characteristics. He's the honest, and he was the truthful. And then And then I want to just address one point that you mentioned. You asked about bending the truth or something. The Prophet had lots of examples throughout his life about addressing lies. And when he said, "Man kadhaba alayya amidan muta'ammidan falyatabawwa maq'adahu min an-nar," whoever lies to me intentionally, so let him pick a place in the hellfire. And ulama, when they explained the hadith, they said, it doesn't mean only that people would lie and fabricate a hadith on Prophet Muhammad, but even bending a hadith, a truthful hadith, or omitting a part of hadith. So it applies for
to
many.
make it sound like something else. That's bending the truth.
And even in Quran, we can find people who's like, "La taqrabu as-salah." It's like, don't approach prayer. It's not like this.
No.
This is still a huge lie.
Yeah.
All right, we have a very good conversation going, but we need to take a quick short break. Stay tuned and join us after the break.
My eyes and I praise. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahi, how perfect you are, Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you know what Islam is? It's a way of life for all. It is taught in the Quran, big and small. Do you know what Islam is? It's a way.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Abdurrahim McCarthy, coming to you from the studios in London, where I'm filming my new TV show Tarbiyah for Huda TV. In Tarbiyah, we're going to take an in-depth look into how the Muslim makes tarbiyah of himself, how he educates himself and trains himself according to the Quran and to the authentic Sunnah of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're going to see how the Quran and how the Sunnah of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam trained the Muslim, and we're going to see the impact that this tarbiyah had on the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, that made them the greatest nation known to mankind. Tarbiyah to revive ourselves and to revive our ummah. Tarbiyah only on Huda TV.
Of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Imagine a day moving away. Suffice to say we're not here to stay. The games we play, the fuss we make, the reason for living.
This is the eternal journey. It's a series of lectures, inshallah ta'ala, hopefully trying to give and shed some light on the topic of our journey. All of us have a unique journey which we will go through, which is part of being a human being and living. We are, inshallah, going to start from the very beginning, prior to any of creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the way through to the end, where we will either be told to go to Jannah or to the Jahannam. وَأَقِيمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي, and establish the prayer so that we may.
Islam stands for justice in every form possible. So you find that there's a form of justice and fairness with oneself, with everybody else, to establish fairness and justice, وَلَوْ عَلَى أَنفُسِكُمْ, even upon your own self.
There's no fitna on earth like the fitna of Dajjal. This is the end of our eternal journey.
Imagine a day moving away. Suffice to say we're not here to stay. The games we play, the fuss we make, the reason for living is made clear that day. The angels stand. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. Before the break, we were discussing that if we had a friend who constantly lies or lies when he jokes, how to help him? How can we help this brother? So I want to move on to Brother Yasser here. Brother Yasser, how would you help a friend that has a problem with lying?
Well, first of all, I need to be sure that that person is fully aware of how damaging lying could be. Mm-hmm. I mean, it has a lot of negative consequences, aftermath, terrible aftermath. I recall this one story that happened in Kuwait back in the days when this mom, she had 3 kids, two boys and 1 girl. So one of the boys, the eldest one, he asked his mom, which was helping to bath her youngest child. So he asked her where my sister came from your belly, and then she said, yeah, just to let him go away, So he went to his sister and he told her, I'm certain now, my mom told me that you have a baby in your belly. Can you believe what? This is just a sad story, but I have to just let people know, so it have terrible consequences. So anyways, this brother, he took a knife and he cut his sister's belly, and then she dropped dead. And then he went in a shock. He was like nervously shocked. He went in a shock, and he went and stood on the wall on their house. So the mom heard the eldest one screaming, so she left the youngest one in the bath and went in a hurry. She saw her daughter slaughtered from her belly. And the first one, the balance, went away, and he just dropped dead on the other side. She went down and she found her third child, and the youngest one is dead. And all that just because of a minor, small lie. So first of all, you have to let people know that it's serious. It's just not. You can make me and Brother Abdul Bari fight. Just because of one lie. That he said something that he didn't say. And you didn't prove it. Everything in Islam and Sunnah, if any sheikh spoke on TV, or anywhere, any conference, everything that he would say, he would bring out evidence to prove it.
Yes.
So this is one of the things. I recall like a lot of people would not be able to manage their, they have their stressful face emotions. So you can just make it out. Just by it. Most of those who lie would tend to speak a lot. I know I'm speaking a lot, but
hopefully you're not lying on the show now. We know that the Prophet ﷺ said, one of the signs of a hypocrite is that when he speaks, he lies.
Yeah.
And there's research that's been done and shows that somebody who constantly tells the truth and doesn't lie lives a healthier life than somebody who lies. Now this is very interesting because it connects with our religion. Now I have something here I want to read to you guys. It's just a little extraction from Eve Adamson. She's a stress management consultant. Okay? In her book, 365 Ways to Reduce Stress, right? Her number 15th way is to tell the truth, the simple act of telling the truth. This is one of the ways to reduce stress. Now, she's a stress consultant, and her job is to teach people how to relieve stress from their lives. So she says, believe it or not, the simple act of lying can cause a great deal of stress in your life. Once you've told a lie, you have to keep it up.
That's right.
Yeah. And that can affect lots of other parts of your routine. Lying is a habit, not necessarily a character flaw.
Yeah.
Some people find themselves bending the truth habitually, even if they don't have a good reason to do so. Truth-telling is a habit too, and the best way to start is to pause and think before you say something. Ask yourself, what am I about to say? And if your answer is something other than what you know to be the truth, ask yourself, is there really a good reason for bending the truth? What would happen if I simply said what is so? Now there's two things we take from here. Number one, from the example of the Prophet ﷺ, we know that before we speak, we should think.
Yeah.
Okay? And number two, that Prophet ﷺ taught us not to lie and always speak the truth.
Yeah.
And right here, a stress consultant is telling us that one of the ways to avoid stress is by simply telling the truth. You don't have to remember what you said because you said the truth.
Yeah.
Brother Yusuf, would you like to share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. Would you like me to give a living example? It just happened a couple of hours ago. When we were coming into the studio and you asked, did you read the question, guys? And I was like, no. I mean, that was relieving. And then you gave us, I myself, I read them, but they gave it. And then you gave us the questions, and then we studied together. And that's very relieving. No stress, no problems. So I think, in a way or another, all habits or all traits that Islam supports us to do. It's just would be leading Muslims to having an ideal life, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's always like this, and it always, when the Prophet appoints something and he emphasizes on it, and he did emphasize lies in always, even in joking or promising that the children, when Asma radiallahu anha told the little kid, come and I'll give you, and the Prophet said, if you don't give her, you lied. And even in very simple acts that sometimes we shy, somebody will ask us to go and eat with them, and I'm shy. It's like, no, I'm not.
Full,
I'm full. I'm not hungry. And we are. The Prophet said, if you say so, you're a liar. So you either go and eat, or you just don't say I'm hungry. I'm not hungry.
Politely decline it. Maybe next time. You're not lying.
Right. Sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm gonna have to seal this
one.
Go
ahead.
آية المنافق ثلاث. إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا اؤتمن خان. If he, إذا حدث كذب, if he spoke, he will lie. إذا اؤتمن خان, if he trusted him, he'll betrayed. إذا وعد أخلف, if he made a promise, he'll break it. I recall this. This one guy who was running away from this bunch of people. So he went to this place, in a wooden place, and he saw this man cutting wood to pieces, so he'd make fire. And he told him, I want you to hide me. There are people following me. They're coming after me. So he told him, go hide behind that wood that I'm cutting. So them bunch of guys, they came, and they asked him, where is this guy? And he said, he's right behind that wood. They thought he was kidding, so they marked him, and they just went away. So the guy came out, and he was so pissed, and he was like, "Why did you give me away? Why did you give me away? Why didn't you just lie? It's easy to lie." And he said this one famous line, "Ya bunayya, i'lam anna as-sidqa yunji dawman." Know that always the truth, which will save you. Don't be just scared from anybody just to catch anything against you. Tell the truth, even if it's on your neck, even if you have to die for it. Just say it. It's easy.
Suleiman, is there something you'd like to add from?
No, just like being, honest. Like honestly, is gonna help you after. As like lying, people, especially right now, this generation, some people they don't take care about it. They may just, I'm gonna lie to you. Maybe just you can say, just only once, because we are friends or we are partners. As you said, just like the devil, shaitan is going to push you. Until after, you're going to lie maybe for your boss, as you mentioned, this guy mentioned before, to get another money. So that money, you are not allowed, you see.
It's not
so because
earned.
like your character, you have to like, how to say, to make like your character or your background good for tomorrow, for your personality. Just always try to, how to say, to define you, because tomorrow maybe like if like something come to say like who we are going to, like if we say now, okay, we have something to share, like to devise for people, for 4 people, I think they're not going to go to someone who is liar, right? They're going to go someone who's trustworthy, right? So being like always like honest and to be truthful is very good.
And from the passage I read, Eve Adamson says the simple act of telling the truth removes stress. Now if we think about it, if we always tell the truth, right? If I told you a lie about something, right? Then when I see you again the next time, I'm going to have to remember what I said, because if he asks me the same question and I say something else, then he's going to think in his head, wow, he's a liar. He's such a liar. He didn't say that last time. So me, if I'm telling lies here and there, I'm going to need to remember who I'm telling those lies to. What lies am I telling? To what extent did I bend the truth? Did I say, I was doing this, and this? Or, to what extent did I bend the truth? So it makes your life so stressful.
If you don't have good memory, then you will fall into. That's why they say truth will always set you free. Absolutely. But we know there are some circumstances where telling lies are permissible in Islam. Are you
Okay.
coming to that? Or?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, we know in 3 circumstances which Prophet ﷺ said lying is permissible in those circumstances. One is during the time of war, we know,
Okay.
because the war, al-harbu khudwa, they say, war is stratagem.
Mm.
Yeah, you can't give a clue to an enemy.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
makes sense during war. There's
Yeah,
no.
it makes sense,
You know, I'm
absolutely.
not going to tell my enemy, well, you know, my
Yeah.
camp is going to be set.
No, no,
You know,
no.
these are the coordinates.
Don't
So
be
it's
naive then.
strategy. Okay,
Absolutely.
so that's the first one during war.
Okay, and the second one also, the one who tries to reconcile between two people who are in argument.
Mhm.
For example, two people are not in speaking term. You try to reconcile between them, and you go to that and tell him something good, and to ascribe him to his partner, to say your brother or the person who you are in argument with say a good thing about you, and also to tell the vice versa to the other person.
Okay, so basically, if
Yeah.
let's make an example. If Yusuf
Yeah,
and Yasser
example,
aren't talking and they're really
yeah,
good friends,
dispute, yeah.
so I can go to Yasser and say, Yasser, you know what? Yusuf said something really good about you. He said, you know, Yasser's always on time, and he's a really good student, this and that. And then, and then I go to Brother Yusuf and I say, Yusuf, you know what Yasser said about you? He said, you know, you're such a good friend. You're always there when he needs to reconcile between them. So that's the second one. Okay, go ahead.
This
Give
is
us
not
the
a
third one.
liar, as said by the Prophet ﷺ. And the last one, for example, between spouses. For example, a husband says to his wife, wow, you are the beautiful woman on earth, for example. Yeah, just to make her feel happy. Even when this is not truth, you know, just to make her feel happy, and vice versa also. As some scholars add, when you are in a dangerous situation also, you expose yourself to danger.
Okay.
On
So
the
your
circumstances
third point you said was a husband can tell his wife she's
Yeah.
the most beautiful woman
Yeah.
in the world, or vice
That's a
versa.
good thing.
A wife can tell her husband. You'd like to say something, Brother Yasser?
Actually, even not just one wife, even if I have two wives, you know, and one of them asks you, okay, so which one you love most, me or her? You know, you're allowed to say you, of course you know, I won't say her, you know.
So
don't want much trouble in their house.
In a sense, you know.
Okay, so what you're saying is point number 3 is you can exaggerate your love for your spouse, your wife or your husband.
And
Okay.
wouldn't be a liar.
And the fourth one you said? Go
Okay,
ahead.
some scholars, for example, when a person in a dangerous situation, the living example is one day a judge or a king wanted to execute one man just for misbehaving, for misdemeanor. And he was brought into his court, and he told his men to go and kill that person just for little offense that he has done.
Yeah, something
So,
not
yeah,
worth the
but that man, the convicted man, didn't understand the language of the king. So when the king uttered that sentence on him, he started uttering bad word against the king, and he called the interpreter and said, wow, what this man is saying about me. The interpreter bent the truth and said, wow, Allah, he is praising you, he is saying good things about you. So, okay, just release him. And Nasir al-Sa'di said, this is a wise interpreter. And this also, in these cases, for example, lying can be permissible. Yeah, in cases like that.
Brother Yusuf, is there any other case which you can lie or it's permissible in Islam?
I don't know any. But I just want to say that some people, I think, would take, especially the point of lying to the spouse and husbands and wives, and they use it, misuse it. It's like they
well,
do
okay.
That's
yeah, we need to clarify that.
yeah.
Obviously.
The example you mentioned is pretty clear, and it's, I think, one of the examples that really permissible, but not the real lies.
Yeah.
But if lies to have a very healthy, happy life with your spouse, I think that's okay. But lies to just if a man is married to other women and he's like, no, I'm not married, things like that. This, I think, is something huge.
So it's only lies when it comes to, you know, her beauty or, you know, something about him, you know. If the husband asks his wife, well, you know, do I look good in, you know, these clothes? And she says, oh no, you don't look that good, it's going to ruin his, self-esteem. So in those situations, but we know that, it doesn't work for every situation, because then it falls under,
with the limits.
haram. It falls under lies that are not allowed. Go ahead, brother.
All you have to do is just, as soon as you say to the wife, you're better than her, just make sure you don't swear. Because it says, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا. These people, a lot of people used to sell, just like Brother Yusuf said. I love what you said about cutting hadith or adding something, misusing something on something else. That is exactly what people in Jesus, in Prophet Isa alayhi salam, they did. That's what they did. That's how the whole religion was completely, they vanished. Why? Because they made up lies. They made up new verses. They made up new verses, in their holy book. So why just to sell it? Quran said it. Quran said it because they want to buy the book, sell the book, and then earn, a few dollars, few money.
Okay.
So you're not going to get anything from that except sins and destroying your aftermath, your other life, your afterlife.
Yeah. Okay. There is a story from the Prophet ﷺ's time, and the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anh, they were traveling to Medina for the first time, the Hijrah as we know it. And during their travel, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq met somebody who was searching for the Prophet ﷺ and himself, and he asked him, who's that man with you? And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu said, that's my guide. Now, the person asking the question thought Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu was talking about the guide to the way, showing him the way to Medina. But Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, in his head, he was talking about, guide to Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ, he's his guide to paradise. So, I want to ask you guys, would that be considered a lie, or is that some sort of indirect talk or ta'reed? And to what extent is that allowed, and how is it allowed? Go ahead, whichever one.
That one, I can tell it, because the question, just sometimes you can ask me something. If I say it, but there's many meanings, okay? So that as that guy, he think that he just guiding him or showing him the way. But if he was maybe about Islam, good, or if he was not about the Prophet, he may like understood that he's the one who's guiding him, like telling him what to do until to reach to the place or to go to the Jannah, to the paradise. See, that's how the guy doesn't understand.
Okay.
It's not considered a lie. It's not considered a lie. Why? Because I noticed from the way you commented on that, you said that man said, "Who is that?" And then he said, "He's my guy." He didn't say, that man is Abdullah when his name was Muhammad, or Abu Bakr when his name was Omar. That's the difference. What do you think, Brother Yusuf? Am I right?
Sure.
Absolutely. It is allowable.
Brother Nadif,
it is allowable to tell indirect speech sometime in order to get out of trouble. This is called Tawriya. A lot of Islamic scholars allow that. For example, Imam Shafi is one of them. Even he himself used it when he was confronted by Ma'amun during the fitna of Khalqul Quran. We know that famous story. So when they asked him, do you think Quran is a created thing? He raised up his fingers like that. He said, Quran, Injil, Zabur, all these are created things. And he meant his fingers. So I think, but if there's a possibility to tell the truth is better. But if you can bend the truth a little bit, so you can say indirect speech. In order to get out of trouble.
That's very good.
In certain situations.
Yeah, in certain situations.
I think even this situation of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and the other situation is just two dangerous situations. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a dangerous situation or risky, but I think sometimes it happens when someone you don't know, a stranger, and they ask you something and I don't know you. What should I say? And I don't want to lie. And Tawriya, I think, is halal. And even Prophet, peace be upon him, said it when a man asked him, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from," literally, in English it means from water. and the Prophet meant something else. Not he's from Quraysh, of course. And I think I remember this incident happened to me when I was a kid. I was in a place that I don't know anybody in, and I was like traveling. I didn't know where I am, where I'm going, and there was and someone asked me, "Who's your father?" And whose son are you? And I said, "I'm the son of my father." You know, so I didn't want to tell him. I didn't know him, and I thought
it was safe for that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's safe, of course.
Okay. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We had a great conversation today.
Sure,
I want to thank all of you guys for joining us today at Huda TV. And dear viewers, I want to thank you for watching our show, and join us next week for another episode of Let's Talk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And I praise Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi Subhanallah, how perfect you are, Allah. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi Subhanallah, how perfect you are, Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Allah. I'm calling your name, Allah. I call you, I need you, Allahu Akbar, Allah. Your mercy is great.